Welcome to the Model Health Show. This is fitness and nutrition expert Shawn Stevenson, here with my beautiful, amazing, highly skilled co-host and producer, Jade Harrell. What's up, Jade?
What's up, Shawn?
How you doing today?
Shawn, I am spring-inning.
Spring-inning?
Yes.
What is that?
I'm beginning to feel so good, like spring is stirring up from within.
That is deep, and I love it.
It's how I feel.
It's springtime.
It is.
Spring is in the air. It's a time of, it's a time of expression, of birth, of new life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an exciting time. And I'm really, really excited about today's show topic because this is a great opportunity to add in some new positive habits in your life as well.
Right.
And I was inspired to actually do this show by a good friend of the show, Pat Flynn.
Patty Two Cakes.
Mr. Pat Flynn from smartpassiveincome.com and also the Smart Passive Income podcast. And he's been on the show. And also I've had the honor of being on his show. And he did an episode recently where he's kind of taking people through a day in the life of Pat.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a brilliant idea. And it's an idea that I had on my show topics list for the Model Health Show for about a year.
Okay.
And I just never got around to doing it because I felt that was not as important as, breaking down the topics of, diabetes and depression and things of that nature. But the reality is, people want to know what I do. People want to know what somebody who's been successful in this field does on a day-to-day basis. And so I thought it would be really valuable. And also because, everybody can use a model. Everybody can use a map. And if something's working for somebody, why try and reinvent the wheel?
That's right.
We've got plenty of wheels.
What?
There's so many wheels.
We don't need any more.
It's absurd.
That's right. Well, besides, we could benefit from the mirror neurons of your life.
Exactly. Please use that.
That's right.
And also, I wanted to show what's possible for people who live a, quote, busy life.
Well,
and my question is, honestly, who isn't busy?
True.
Who isn't busy right now?
But who's as busy as you?
We've all got the same 24, though,
Right.
whether it's a student, who's in their first semester of college, or it's a mom with 3 kids that's taking care of the home and the family, or it's, Obama or Beyonce or, Brad Pitt or any celebrity that we see who's accomplishing big things, be it in entertainment or in business, somebody like Pat Flynn, for example.
Right.
We've all got the same 24, and it's really our habits that determine what our life is going to look like.
But it does make a difference. And the team.
Exactly.
Shouts out to all the background people.
So also I want to show how to strategically keep yourself sharp, creative, and energized through the day, and to share some of the things that I do personally and why I do them, and most of all, to encourage you to create some positive daily habits for yourself. And so it's going to be a really ripe, juicy show. But first, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our show sponsor, Onnit.com. Head over to ONNIT/model for 10% off all of your health and human performance supplements. You're going to find out today, it's a part of my life on a daily basis. Hemp Force Protein.
That's it.
By far the best protein that you're going to find out there. And it's made from the most bioavailable source of protein structure for the human body, which is edestin, and also albumin, which is a soft globular protein. These are the protein structures you're going to find in hemp that you're not going to find anywhere else. You could go another way.
Right. We've actually had someone tell us they tried something else.
You can try the whey proteins out there. You can try the other random hemp proteins, and it's probably going to taste like you got some, some dirt crumbs.
Right from the bottom of your shoe.
From the bottom of your shoe.
Just pick up your shoe.
And throw it in a shaker bottle with a little bit of stevia. And that has that same consistency too. It's a little gritty, Why is it so gritty? I thought Shawn said hemp was good.
It's a mud
Hemp
pie
Force
smoothie.
is good.
Yeah.
Hemp protein from, Company X.
No guarantee.
It's not no guarantee. Yeah. The protein itself is good for your body. The taste, not so much. So head over there, get yourself some Hemp Force Protein. Do yourself a favor. It's amazing. And it's a Model Health exclusive. A lot of people don't know this. 10% off for Hemp Force Protein. You don't get that anywhere else, all right? So it's a little special thing I slid in there for you guys to be able to get access to that.
I appreciate it. It's like you being at the gate and they let us in, only the VIPs in, and we're like, we know him.
We're with him. And also, huge fan of the Shroom Tech Sport. It's my pre-workout supplement. You know how I get down. From going to the gym, we're not there to play around.
Right.
And just getting that little extra edge, but not something that is a nervous system stimulant like a lot of these pre-workout supplements. crank, just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Just getting wired up, and you can actually get a little bit jittery from some of that stuff. And that's all fine and dandy, but the reality is these things really, it's a pseudo energy. You're really spiking out your nervous system, and that can do some harm to your adrenal glands long term.
Yeah.
So this is a nice, natural, safe enhancement to your energy, not a stimulant.
I'm on it today.
I noticed something different about you.
I'm on it. I'm on it. As a matter of fact, I said, well, we got a couple of shows to knock out. Let me get it in.
It's my pre-workout, it's your pre-life.
Pre-life,
is how you say it.
Yeah.
And so it's based on cordyceps mushroom, which has over 5,000 years of documented history for use and resonance with the human body. And now today, our modern science is proving what our ancestors knew already, is that number one, clinical studies show that it improves the oxygenation of your cells, right? So it helps to improve the structure of your blood and circulation, right? How powerful is that? So
very good.
Studies showing that improves athletic performance, also cognition, and also libido.
You have to
put that in parentheses, libido.
Right.
Right. So anything that improves or enhances your libido is going to be something that improves your energy.
Win-win for everybody.
Overall, So whatever you choose to do with that energy, it's on you. It's your choice. It's a free country. So head over there.
Most of them are.
Head over there and check them out. Onnit.com/model for 10% off. Now let's get into the iTunes review of the week.
Well, this one, Shawn, is going to hit you right square in the jaw. Hero Hottie and Creme de la Gem from Fozzie Lover. You guys are amazing. I first tuned into you when a fitness coach told me you are an amazing teacher, life coach, and inspirational fanboy number one. I thought, how good can you be? You guys are so phenomenal and better than I could have imagined. When I feel down and I need a boost, I listen to you so I feel like I am in control. I can change my eating habits. Exercise is what I need. Taking care of my body is a necessity. You have made a forever model makeover listener. Thanks for your positivity, your passion, and your empowering knowledge. I have started taking seriously the need to eat well, the need to take care of my body, and best of all, it's beginning to take hold of my children. They even hum your show tunes when I turn you on. Thank you, thank you, thank you, a devoted, nearly cultish listener.
Wow. That's amazing. That makes it all worth it.
How about that?
Thank you so much for sharing that. And wow, I feel like a big part of my job is done, and wow, that's just amazing. Thank you so much, everybody, for leaving these reviews over on iTunes. It means the world to us. And thank you especially today, Fozzie Lover.
Fozzie Lover.
That's quite a name.
That is.
So now let's go ahead and get into our topic of the day. Today, we're going to be doing a day in the life of a fat loss warrior. All right?
Yes.
So I'm going to take you through my day and show you some of my daily habits and daily rituals. And so there's a wonderful quote from Samuel Johnson that says, "The chains of habit are generally too small to be felt until they are too strong to be broken."
Wow.
Okay, so this is speaking to the fact that these little small things that we're doing on a daily basis, they might seem small, but in the long run, they become a part of who you are. And that's what we really want to accomplish. We want to get into a state where it's hard to get out of shape.
Right.
It's like you got to work.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying so hard to get out of shape, it just won't happen.
Right.
Whole different paradigm than what most people are dealing with, where it's a constant struggle to try to get into shape.
And we've discovered over time that the small habits that work against our health and wellness then become really hard to break.
Exactly. And this is another paradigm shift, which is usually when you hear the word habit, we attach that to bad habits. It's called bad habits.
Right.
A smoking habit. I've got this habit of smoking. I've got a drinking habit.
I've got an Oreo habit.
I've got a double stuffed Oreo habit. Can you help me with this? Okay. Here's the breaking news story.
Right.
You can create positive habits. Okay? You can create positive habits consciously. And that's what this is really about, because the reality is you are a result of your habits. The life that you have right now is based on the things that you've done on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are monumentous moments in our lives that shift the course and direction of our life, but we don't keep going that direction without habits. So again, the life that you have right now is a result of your habits. But before we get into it, I want to share one more quote with you guys from St. Augustine that says, "Habit, if not resisted, soon becomes necessity." Okay? So what we want to create is a life so that the things that you're doing for yourself, these positive, affirmative things that you're doing, for me, for example, it feels wrong if I don't do them. I just don't feel right.
Right.
It's a necessity for me in order for me to feel like Shawn.
Right.
And so this is what I hope for you guys to take away from this today. So,
As well as it not being some great overhaul and drain immediately to get there.
Yeah.
I love the quote that you mentioned first about they're so small you can't hardly feel them as you're starting to build them. That's
Exactly.
nice. That's graceful.
Yes, I love that word. And so this is what we're going to put together today. And so let's go ahead and get you guys started with my day.
Oh, my.
For me, my day begins, I wake up at around 5:30 a.m. every single day. And why do I get up at 5:30? So as you guys probably know already, I have a best-selling book called Sleep Smarter, and talking about how to optimize your sleep and thus your energy, your physical health, your success in your life by you feeling good. And part of the reason I get up at 5:30 is to help to set my circadian timing in rhythm with the rest of the planet. All right. So this is when the sun is going to be coming up around this time. So that's part number one, which we'll come back and talk a little bit about
I love
this.
that.
Part number two is I have kids. All right. I have 3 kids.
Yep.
2 of them, my oldest daughter, she's actually in college right now, freshman in college, but my 2 sons live with me, 14-year-old son and a 3-year-old son. And the 3-year-old, if for those parents out there, they know this, but for those who don't have kids, they will interrupt you.
Yes.
Okay, so if you got some things, some plans that you want to take care of in the morning and just things that you want to do, and that little needy person is going to come, they're not trying to bother you. It's just, they want some attention. And so by getting up before my son, who usually gets up around 7, I've got an hour and a half to take care of me and to fill myself up so that I'm able to give more to everyone else.
Nice.
All right, so I get up at 5:30, and the first thing that I do, of course, go and pee, but the first thing that I do is I go and drink about 1 liter of high-quality structured water. And so what we call this is our inner bath, right? And for most people, we take an outer shower or an outer bath every single day, because it's just, I guess it's good hygiene, right? But what about the inside?
Right.
Isn't that more important? Because the inside is determining what the outside looks like.
Yeah, physically too.
Exactly. I mean, on all levels. And also, even the way your brain's functioning, your neurotransmitters, the communication throughout your body is happening on a water pathway. You better get you some new fuel in there for that system to work, or the highway is going to start to get clogged up, basically.
I love that
All
analogy.
right, so getting up in the morning, and this is a great time because, number one, when you wake up in the morning, you are definitely dehydrated because your body just underwent a lot of biochemical processes to heal you, to make you better.
Right.
And so it's just helping to go and flush out metabolic waste. And also, one of the things that I do, and by the way, we'll put in the show notes, if you've not listened to the hydration and water masterclass that we did, it's a necessity because I don't want to get too much into the type of water and that whole thing. But generally, I'm going to have, and I'll just share what I had today. I had about 1 liter of water with a little pinch of Himalayan salt and also some ionic mineral drops in there as well. And so with that, I'm doing a regimen right now of taking some probiotics. I don't do that all the time, but from time to time, maybe a month, maybe 3 months, I'll have some probiotics along with that morning water. And I do that because this is when your gastrointestinal tract is really open and available for these healthy bacteria to populate.
Great.
Right? Instead of doing that along with some food, this is giving them an open environment to kind of set up shop. And so this is making sure that the good guys are controlling your ship instead of the not so good guys.
Yeah, and give them some room to work.
Yes. So that's what I do. And also, here's one more little side note as to why I'm doing this in the morning and getting up at 5:30 is that I train in the afternoon. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment, but this gives my wife the opportunity to go and do her training. So I'm also getting up at this time before our son so that she can go to the gym and take care of her because then she's going to show up better for everybody else, including me. And I like that.
Mommy's happy, the whole house is
happy wife, happy life.
There you go.
True story. That's what we call a true fact.
That's right.
So I'm getting up at 5:30, water first with probiotics. And then after that, I'm going to do my daily reading. So I'm going to read for about 15 to 20 minutes, usually some type of personal development book or material, or I'm going to be researching an author who we're going to be talking to. For example, we just wrapped up Dr. Sarah Godfrey's amazing book, The Hormone Reset Diet. So I was reading that in the morning. And while I'm reading, I'm actually doing a little bit of a hip hip flexor stretch. So I'm like down on one knee. For people who might have played football, for example, I'm just kind of down on one knee at my desk and reading the book. And I'll kind of switch sides for about 10 minutes. And I'm doing this kind of consciously, just a little light stretch. And after about 20, 15 minutes, because I did that inner bath, this is where my appointment with the squatty potty happens. All right. So if you're drinking that nice amount of water in the morning, chances are it's going to help to flush out your system. And this is a great way you want to start your day, nice and clean and clear. And so I go to the bathroom for people who don't get with the squatty potty for number 2, to eliminate all the waste from my system. And so we've did a powerful, really important episode about proper pooping.
Yes.
All right. And it's just mind-blowing when you start to understand that there are nerve endings from your heart and your brain that land in your colon. You know, so if there's impacted fecal material, if you're just not regular, quote, regular, then you're going to have problems with your energy. If you're full of
crap,
full of crap, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to look like crap. You're going to talk like crap. You're going to treat people like crap.
You'll probably smell like crap.
But your breath, I mean, it's a two-way tube.
That's right.
You know, so we've got to make sure that we have, and this is why it's called regular, right? And so this is a habit that you can create, because there was a time when I was not regular,
right.
and I think I might have shared this story in that episode. You know, back 20 years ago, before I knew a thing about nutrition, when I would go to the bathroom, it might be every couple of days. I wasn't conscious of it. But when I go, it was like an event. You know, it was an event.
You had to set up.
Everybody leave, get out of the house, light a candle, whatever. You set the mood, put some music on. It's an event.
Oh, my gosh.
That's not normal. You know, you should be going every single day. And in most cases, multiple times a day. And so, but it just depends on your gastrointestinal tract, by the way. And so this is really important to kind of flush your body out. Drinking that water is another valuable thing. And if you want to create that daily habit, instead of it just kind of popping up, nature calling, when you're at a meeting or you're out on the road.
Right, that's the worst.
You've got to train your system, okay? It's creating a habit. It's called being regular for a reason. So just drinking that water down, maybe wait a few minutes, then go, and hopefully you're using the squatty potty. And so again, listen to that episode. It's critical. And just go and have the practice, and your body will it'll get it.
It does.
After a little bit.
I've noticed it's become routine. Quick question. So you're reading about what time and for how long?
So I'm probably reading around, since I'm up at 5:30, I'm probably reading around 5:45.
Okay.
Right? So for about 15, 20 minutes. So just to recap, wake up in the morning. I have my inner bath, right? About a liter of highly structured water. I do my reading, my daily reading, and then I use the restroom. And then at this point is where I do my meditation.
Okay. Have we hit 6:30 yet?
And so the meditation is going to happen right around 6.
Okay.
So and for today, for example, was at 6 o'clock, like on the dot.
Mm-hmm.
And so my meditation is something that is very, very important to me. And it's something that no matter what, I don't skip. If I've got to get for a flight, my meditation is, I'm going to at least do 3 minutes. I'm going to do something to just set my intention, to be present with myself, and to give thanks. You know, this is a big part of my meditation practice, and it's something that I've been doing on a daily basis for about a decade now, maybe a little bit over. And this was, again, introduced to me by my mother-in-law. What a wonderful teacher who's been teaching meditation for about 30 years herself. And it just really, it changed me. You know, if people want to know how I became who I am, meditation was definitely one of the foundational things. And it's for me, it's just really getting reintroduced to you, and that's so important, and understanding how important and valuable you are as a human entity. But you can't understand that if you're so outside of yourself all the time, and we get so scattered. So let me share with you guys actually a little bit about my meditation practice. So what I do is first something really powerful to change your state. And sometimes I might listen to music. I've got my Beats headphones, kind of block out everything. And there's a certain track that I've been playing for many, many, many years. Or I'll just sit in silence. And the first thing that I do is something really powerful. And I think especially for people that are more busy-minded is to change my state, right? And so I do something called breath of fire. And I'll do that for about 90 repetitions. And so what that is basically a little bit of kind of fast-paced breathing really deeply. So it's like something like this, like, all right? Okay. So it's something like that. And I'll do about 90 repetitions of that. And so that maybe that's 60 seconds. And after you do that, the breath of fire, and people just go to Dr. Google and look this up.
It is so good.
And what you're going to do is you're going to feel an instant change in your physiology, right? And it's going to create a little space of silence. And so after that, that set of breath of fire, I'll just sit there and just kind of be in that for a moment. And then I'll move into the next phase of my meditation, which is conscious breathing. So it's basically doing breathing exercises. And I know we've done this before, but, you know, so when people breathe most of the time, they're going to be breathing, you know, if I ask somebody to put their hand on their heart and they take a breath, it'll be like this. And so I'll see their chest expand, their shoulders go up, when in reality, they should be breathing like this. My upper body didn't move at all. It's because I'm breathing from my belly, you know? And so you want to fill up your lungs, get your diaphragm working by taking that deep, deep breath. And a lot of us have been conditioned in our world today to breathe very shallow. It's like a fear-based thing. And by breathing shallow, we're also going to be releasing more stress hormones, right? Because that's what you do when trouble's about. You know, you breathe shallow, you just get to going. It's the fight or flight response that you're unknowingly triggering. And so you can actually shift, and that's called the sympathetic nervous system. And so you can actually shift to the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as the rest and digest system, by doing deep breathing exercises. All right.
I love that.
Here's what I do. So I'll sit and I'll take a deep breath in for about 5 seconds, filling my belly with air, and then I'll hold it for 5 seconds. And then I'll breathe out for 5 seconds and hold it out for 5 seconds. And the reason that I do that, holding the breath in and out, is that it's pretty well known in the world of people who meditate, is that there's silence in the gaps. You know, you want to get in the gap. And so those little brief moments when you're holding that breath in or out of your body, there's an extra bit of silence that you can kind of sit with. And so there's a couple of things here, and which is, one, you can follow your breath.
Okay.
Right? So basically, you can picture the breath coming in through your nose and filling up your lungs, and then follow it going out of your nose, right? That's one way. Or here's something that's more colorful for people who, again, are a little bit more busy-minded, which it's a valuable gift in our world today to be busy-minded, because there's a lot of stuff going on, right? And we were just talking about before the show, you know, my wife has like 20 tabs open on her computer at all times.
Yep.
I can't do it. I go over, I'm just like, can I just use one of these open tabs?
She's like, no.
I can't open another one, you know? But that helps for you to see possibilities, to see all the stuff coming at you. It's a wonderful gift, but you want to be able to just shut it down and to have one screen, you know, at a time. Because meditation, again, it's not about, and a lot of people is like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing it right. It's not about having that silence or having no thoughts. It's about focusing on, because the thought of no thoughts is a thought. Just being able to focus on one thing. And so another practice that you can do is, and I did this one this morning, is when you breathe in, you say something to yourself, a little mantra, like, I'm breathing in. So this is I haven't talked about this before either. So I'm breathing in healing and energy. And then on the out breath, you say, I'm breathing out. And you're saying this in your mind. So on the in breath, I'm breathing in healing and energy. And then on the out breath, I'm breathing out love and kindness.
Yes.
You know, and you just have that as your mantra. So breathing in energy and healing, breathing out love and kindness.
I love that.
You know, or whatever it might be. So something that you want to take in and receive for the day, and something that you want to give
exactly
for the day, for the rest of the planet.
Is your abdomen expanding on the inhale and collapsing on the exhale?
You got it.
I
Totally.
got it. All right.
So it's going to fill up with air, and then it's going to be totally emptied out.
That seemed opposite of what I had done naturally for a while.
Right. And that's kind of what, again, just how we've been programmed. You know, we'll naturally be more defensive and closed off. And also that shallow breathing leads to a lot of anxiety as well, naturally. And so by you doing this, it can be a lot of freedom, and it becomes a part of who you are the more you practice this.
Very nice.
And this is why it's called a practice. So I'll do my breath of fire. Then I'll do my conscious breathing. Then I'll do my gratitude practice. Which generally I'm just going to say at least three things that I'm grateful for. I try to do three, but I just kind of get on a roll. And I'm also a big proponent of smiling. I'm a big smiler while I'm doing this practice, because I really feel the joy that these things that I'm grateful for bring to my life. And also I understand I'm not one of those guys who just does things. You know, I'm a very analytical person, and it's just who I am. And so I look at the the connection, the neural association, and the synaptic connections, and the muscle memory that's involved in you smiling. When you smile, you're literally pulling on certain strings that are connected to more release of endorphins. Also, there's some that are actually connected to your heart. Funny enough, you know, like this whole idea and concept, there's actually scientific root to this stuff.
Joy in my heart.
But just, it's very difficult to feel depressed if you put a big smile on your face.
Right.
You know, because it's hardwired neural connection, right? Those synaptic connections have been put together densely ever since you were a baby, right?
Grateful for that, then.
And so after the gratitude, and by the way, I'll just give you some minutes. So minute 1 is breath of fire.
Okay.
About 3 minutes on breathing exercise. About 3 minutes on gratitude, which again, I just kind of get on a roll. And then the last 3 minutes is visualization.
Really?
You know, so this is when I actually visualize either my day or my life and the things that I want to see manifested, you know, and setting my intention for the day. And I think this is very, very important for us because you're not just a product of your environment, you're a creator of your environment. You know, you're a creator of your destiny. And the more that you can see it, the more that you can make it real much, much faster, you know. And so what's said scripturally, you know, without a vision, people perish.
Yeah,
you know, without a vision, people perish. That's a powerful statement,
right?
You know, and just understanding that your ability to see beyond what is one of the greatest gifts that a human being can have, you know. But of course, we want to be present. And that's what I spent with the first part of the meditation is being present, being in joy, and just being there, right? But then I look forward and see the things that I want to create. And so for me, what I do is I say a little statement, which would you like me to share it?
Of course.
Okay.
Are you kidding? I got another piece of paper.
Here's what I say. I'm taking this moment to create my day, and I'm affecting all of existence. Show me a sign that you paid attention to these things that I've created, and bring them in a way that I can understand with great clarity, and make it so that there's no doubt that they came from you, and make it so that I'm as overjoyed at my ability to experience these things. And again, I'm saying this all internally. And then after I complete that statement, and by the way, I say that last part about so that I'm overjoyed to experience these things because we get jaded. You know, when great things happen to us, if we visualize something and we see it happen, it's great for that moment, but just for me to remember, you know, so I never lose that childlike feeling and that joy and that gratitude for what I do create in this life. And so I kind of wipe everything clean on my movie screen, and then I put my movie up.
There you go.
You know, and I either create my day or I create my life experience. And so again, I've been doing this for a long time, and I got to tell you guys, kind of works. So you can take any of these things that might speak to you,
all
you know,
of it.
And it's a really valuable practice. At the end of my visualization, I give thanks. I bless it with appreciation. I affirm that I'm a grateful receiver. And I accept the benefits.
Nice.
And acceptance is an important part of this because, you know, we've talked about this on past shows as well. We are conditioned, again, to not understand our value. And when good things happen to us or just even somebody pays us a compliment, we'll tend to repel it. Not me, no.
Right.
And you're ignoring your greatness. And you're giving feedback to all of life and to the environment that you don't want those things.
Right.
You know? So, no, don't give me love and compliments and blessings. No, I don't want it. So we need to be able to practice receiving and acceptance. And so this was in the body image episode, if I remember correctly.
I do too.
So we'll put that in the show notes for everybody as well.
So I have a compliment.
Okay.
This is a really awesome episode, and I'm proud of what you're delivering today.
Thank you. Thank you. I think you can know this is kind of difficult because I'm taking people inside of my world, like some of these things I've never shared before.
I know.
But again, it's just like, who am I not to? Who am I not to share things that have brought value to my life, you know? So.
And that in turn opens us up because this created a pathway, a portal into our inner space. So kudos, Ashe.
Kudos. All right. So thank you so
I'm
much.
Grateful for it.
Thank you. And so here's the deal.
What time is it now?
We'll just say 6:20, 6:25. Now it's time to do a little bit of training. And I mentioned that I trained in the afternoon.
Right.
Right. And so what I'm doing now is just a short session just to, again, go in accordance with nature, which I should be having a cortisol secretion in the morning because that helps my cortisol to be low in the evening. So in Sleep Smarter, I actually cite a study from Appalachian State University showing that morning exercisers spend up to 75% more time in deep sleep. So exercise in the morning will help you sleep better at night. And so what I do is something like a 10-minute thing, 5 minutes even, just to get your heart rate up, just to get your body in a state, a positive state. And so for me, during the winter months when it's cold, I generally will hop on my rebounder, so my mini trampoline. And I'm going to share it with you guys a little bit of a resource in just a moment on how you can find out the stuff that I actually use. And because I've experimented with a lot of these things, and I've used the ones with the raggedy springs and just ankles, but I found what works and what feels good. And so I'll do 10 minutes of rebounding, which NASA, literal rocket scientists say it's the best form of exercise for the human body. So I'll either do that for about 10 minutes while listening to an audiobook or maybe a podcast, or I'll go for a brisk walk for about 20 minutes. So I might be rebounding for maybe 10, 15 minutes, or a walk for maybe 20, even up to 30 minutes, while generally listening to an audiobook or podcast. And so this is why my older son is still at home. And so he can be there with my 3-year-old just in case he might wake up. And I'll just take a stroll around the block.
Sure. But this could kind of get up to about 30 minutes.
Yeah. It just depends on when I get out the door. If I've got 30 minutes, then I'll generally have 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I get back from that and I'll do a little bit of mobility work for maybe 3 minutes. And then I hit the shower.
Mobility work.
Yeah.
Specify.
So we did a great show. Dr. Kelly Starrett was on. And the mobility work is really just about working on any particular muscle imbalances that you might have or any kind of trouble spots, because you're creating, again, that neural connection to get your body to be set in the way that it needs to be. Because a lot of people, if they're in a situation where the body's out of balance, they might do some therapy once a week or once a month or something. Right. And that's just not going to do the job generally, or chiropractic once a month. You have to do it consistently to get your body set, right? And so for me, I'm doing a little bit of mobility work because I've got a little bit of anterior pelvic tilt, So I'll be working like with my hip flexors again, and also stretching out my lower back a little bit. So things like that. And
you'll have to share some examples on the.
I've got an article coming out.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, talking about building a better butt.
Okay.
This actually, I think it's going to be out by the time this is out.
Okay.
So, and it's talking about posterior pelvic tilt, which is where your hips actually sink under, right?
Yeah.
And this is a little
Dumpy
bit,
butt.
AKA no butt, right? Gumby.
Dumpy butt.
And so, but anterior pelvic tilt, AKA duck butt.
Yes.
Is where it's, And so for people who want to build a better behind, which is it's huge now.
Yeah.
Literally.
Right.
It's just like, when did it
Butts
get
are
cool?
huge.
When did it get cool to have a big butt?
Hey,
I'm not mad.
I'm grateful.
I'm not mad.
It works out for me.
As a matter of fact, I'm a little bit jubilant about it. However, it's just like this transition has happened in our culture. And so people wanting to know how to build up their behind and have a nice butt, but not understanding, like, if structurally, if you're off, if your hips are tucked under, you're going to build a nice big butt up under you, like literally under you instead of behind you, So these are little insights that I put into this article. So
I love it.
All right,
are you going to share that then?
What?
The article.
Yes. The article is on my site. Just go to the ShawnStevensonModel.com. Just type in better butt.
Better butt.
All right. So now after the mobility work and the exercise, now I'm going to hit the showers. And this is where I'll generally do a contrast shower.
Man. This is
where
you prove you're nuts.
So I'll take a nice, warm, hot shower, get myself clean, feeling good. And then we're going to go on all cold. All right. And so here's why I do this. Number one, first of all, obviously it's going to bring you back to the present moment. Fast. Right. But here's the real physiological and really powerful just relationship to your biochemistry. Here's why this is effective. Number one, it improves circulation. And this is kind of obvious because your blood flow is going to be moving in close to your core and then out on your outer perimeter, in and out, by you changing it to hot and cold water. And so this can help you to heal your muscles faster. Oftentimes people have been through physical therapy. You'll do like a rotation of hot packs and ice packs.
Right.
And so that's number one. Number two is that this might actually be something beneficial for burning fat. All right.
Well.
And we're going to talk about this on the upcoming show in more detail, but this has to do with, number one, this is kind of Captain Obvious. When your body's cold, it has to generate more energy to warm you up, AKA burning more calories. But as we know, it's not about calories per se. We're talking about something sustainable. What this really relates to is something called your brown fat and your white fat, right? So your brown fat is known as this, quote, healthy fat, and it actually functions more like muscle to burn the white fat as energy, right, to generate more heat. And most of it is located right here at the top of your collarbone and also your upper back.
Oh, my.
Okay. So that's where you want to hit that cold water at. Right? And so that's going to stimulate your brown fat to start working to start burning up some of that white fat.
Well, that's going to make me reconsider.
But also, so again, we're not going to get into this in much more detail here, and I'm not doing it for that purpose, but it's a nice side effect.
Hey, thanks for sharing.
And what the research is indicating is that this is also beneficial for improving your immune system function, benefits with testosterone production, your skin and your hair, fertility. There's a lot of stuff, and we're going to talk about this on the upcoming show. But and just bottom line, I do this because it's just flat out invigorating. You know, when you got to end it on cold. So here's an example. So you take your shower, maybe it's 5 minutes. You turn the hot water off, get that, and you gotta man or woman up, you know, and get in there and just let it hit you. So I'll do 10 seconds on my front, and you can just shift this, but generally it's going to be like a 3-to-1 ratio, okay, of hot to cold. So 10 seconds on my chest, and I'll turn around, 10 seconds on my back, and then I'll turn the hot water back on, all right? And then I'll do maybe a minute, just kind of get reacclimated. And the second time you do it, it's not as hard. So maybe I'll do 2 or 3 rounds of that. But I'll always end on cold. And you're going to feel amazing. You know, when you get done, after that cold water's off and you're toweling off, you're going to feel awake and alert and fresh, all right? And so again, I'm just sharing what I do.
I mean, I'm just, I think once I get over the nerve, I want to feel like that. I do desire it. I just got to get over the nerve. I'm going to just go for it.
So after I get dressed, then I go and head in and have my breakfast. And so generally I'm going to, and here's what a lot of people want to know.
Right.
You know,
what does the fat loss warrior eat?
What's the nutritionist eating? All right, what you eating, really,
What's
in real life?
Your basket.
So what I'm doing generally for breakfast, because I understand the biochemistry, I understand the power that nutrition has on your physiology and the way that you feel, and also your ability to stay lean. I'm going to be eating a higher fat, protein, and lower carbohydrate breakfast generally. And so in the carbohydrates for me are going to come in the form of non-starchy vegetables, a lot of them. If somebody's really dedicated to having the body and health they really want, I highly encourage them to stop looking at breakfast like dessert,
That's what
you know,
it is.
and look at it more like a normal meal where you're getting lots of non-starchy vegetables in there. And so for me, this is going to look something like pasture-raised sausages, like a couple Italian sausages, a half of a sliced avocado, and then a half of a plate of sauteed spinach with garlic. Or today I had some sauteed greens that my mother-in-law made, so it's easy for me to just warm up rather than me chopping up everything. And so, by the way, that kind of stuff you can make, and you'll have it for 2 or 3 days, you know, and you can just go and warm it up.
Yeah.
And so generally with that, I'm going to add in, because we always go extra, upgrade. What can we upgrade? So I'm generally going to be having some sea veggies in there as well. So I'll have my sliced avocado there, and I'll top it with some dulse flakes, right? Some sea veggies called dulse, which is a high source of potassium of any food we know about. Also going to get your iodine in there for your thyroid function. Or some kelp. A lot of people know about kelp now, the kelp granules.
Yes.
We can top that. And also, from time to time, I'll have a few bites of sauerkraut as well, you know, so some fermented or some kimchi. And you know what? I decided today that I'm going to share with you guys a printout of my schedule, a PDF of my schedule, and kind of walk you through my day and give you some of these resources if you want it.
Yes.
And what it's going to include is I'll actually share with you some pictures of what I'm eating, which I'm not one of those guys that's like taking pictures of my food and put it on social media, but I'll do that for you guys to give you a glimpse into what my meals look like, and also my current exercise regimen. And I'll also share my wife's current exercise regimen, which we're doing 2 different things. I'm working more on building muscle and power, and she's working more on fat loss right now. So I'll include those in there, and also I'll put in the audio of the meditation I listen to, for example.
All right.
So if you guys want access to that, head over to themodelhealthshow.com/daily routine. Okay. themodelhealthshow.com/daily routine. Okay. I'll say that one more time. themodelhealthshow.com/daily routine. And you can get access to that for free.
So want it.
All right. Now, let's move on. So right at this point, so breakfast is done. This is my daily practice right here. This is how I start my day every day. And by the way, again, this takes, 90 minutes tops for all of this.
After breakfast, we're probably about 7:30.
And so, yeah, somewhere right around there.
Perfect.
And so understanding that this is something that doesn't change. It doesn't matter if it's Monday or Saturday. This is what I'm doing every day. And consistency is the key.
Okay.
So a lot of people, if it's Sunday, it's like, well, I'm sleeping in, or Saturday, and they throw off their circadian rhythms. They throw off their hormonal cycle and wonder why on Monday it's so hard to get up.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having that attitude of like every single day is an opportunity for me.
Right.
Versus I have to do something or I don't have to do something. It's a totally different way of living. And so now I'm going to take you guys through a little bit of a bonus and show you what not just my day, but my week would actually look like. And so, and I'm just going to kind of hammer through this a little bit. So on Mondays, and so this is the beginning of the work week for most of society. So on Mondays, I'm going to go and see my client and mentor, who's now 81 years old, and he's the only person I work with as a strength and conditioning coach. And this is something I did for many years, and I would see 10 people a day, and now I just see him because I love him, and I love that mutual relationship that we have. He's taught me so much, and also just helping him to hit his goal of being a fit, healthy 100-year-old. And so I work with him on Mondays and Thursdays. So. And during that time, so maybe the session is, a little bit less than an hour.
What time do you guys get started?
So that's going to be around 8:30, right? So I've got some leeway time in here if little things come up, So 8:30, I'm seeing him. Then I'm going to be at my office by 10. And so this is where I shifted out of the strength conditioning coach to opening up my practice and consulting for nutrition and working with companies and that kind of thing. And so then I hit my office. But for now, the structure's changed because no longer, again, am I seeing patients person after person after person. I'm taking that message and teaching teachers. I'm sharing it with the people who can just take this information and apply it themselves so that they can be the master of their own health.
That's right.
Instead of constantly seeking another guru to try to help them out. And so what this entails for me on Mondays, this is my research day. And I'm very, very serious about my research. And so this is going to be where I'm consuming information and finding ways to teach it, so especially for the podcast. So I'm prepping research for episodes, also reading books on the topic, or I'm reading books to help to create an article that I might be doing for my own website or for another website, or, research as far as people that are coming on the show, reading their books. So this is my research day. And during this day, I've got to make this point. I'm using a standing desk, all right? I'm using a standing desk. And so for me, I have something called a Vary desk. And you can actually put it on your already existing desk, and you can lift it up or down. We talked about this on the episode with Dr. Kelly Starrett as well. And so you don't have to buy a new desk, but you can buy those standing desks that can actually go up and down. When I was with my friend John Lee Dumas over at his house, he's got one. It's space age. You just tap it and it just, rises up like it's got hydraulics or whatever. And same thing if he needs to bring it down and he wants to sit down. And so maybe I'll stand for about 90 minutes. I'll sit, I'll rotate and maybe sit for about 20 minutes or so. And I'll obviously sit when I have my lunch, which my lunch is going to be around 12:45 every day. And many days, though, I'll have some tea, or maybe around 11. And so that's what I actually had today when I came in. It was around 10:30. And so that might be some yerba mate or some pu'er if I want a little bit of caffeine, or if I want to skip the caffeine, I'll do some rooibos tea or some pau d'arco tea. Generally, I'll blend that with a little bit of fat. So the Onnit coconut oil and the Onnit MCT oil, or maybe a little bit of grass-fed butter might go in there as well. But, for me, the dairy, got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Even though butter is going to be much, I guess I could say safer for individuals that have an allergy to dairy, but you still got to be careful with it because some of those milk proteins can sneak in there.
Yeah.
All right, so then I get back to work after my lunch, which is about an hour. And by the way, really quickly, during my lunch break, there's a couple things you can employ, and that I've done all of these. You can do mindful eating, Just be there with your food. I encourage people that have an issue with eating and with their body to do that. So you can learn to chew. All right? Actually learn to chew your food. Right? So you got like whole pieces of like, I don't know, bread coming out the other end. You don't want that. You want to make sure that your food is fully broken down in your mouth first, because the old saying is that your stomach doesn't have any teeth. This is important. Also, your saliva is mixed with your DNA, your genetic information, right? And for people that don't get that, Maury Povich,
Yes.
right? When they're taking that DNA
dad?
test, you are not the father. You are not the father. They're taking a swab out of the inside of your mouth, because your DNA, your genetic material, your genetic information is in there. And you're going to encode that with your food as you're chewing it. So your food gets familiar with you before it gets into the rest of your body, right? So it's more likely to be recognized as self than autoimmune problem, okay?
How about that?
So mindful eating, or I'll listen to a podcast, or maybe I'll watch a video every now and then. But I practice mindful eating so often that I'm a very, very great chewer, I guess, maybe to a fault, to the degree that, back in the day, we would have to schedule around Shawn's eating. If my wife and me were going out to, maybe to a movie after dinner, she's like, wow. She's always scheduling, like, I got to make sure he has time to eat,
To chew.
And so, but now we take about the same amount of time. I've learned to chew a little faster. She's learned to chew a little slower.
I see.
All
That's
right?
perfect harmony.
Coming together. All right. So Mondays, I also have a team meeting with that lovely woman of mine. And because she's managing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And then maybe I'll do a quick walk, but then I'll get back to my research. And Monday's a training day for me. So right around between 4:30 and 5, I'm going to hit the gym. And just prior to that, I'm going to take my Shroom Tech Sport, because generally Monday is going to be a pretty heavy training day. And so then I'll hit the gym. And by the way, again, I'll put what I'm currently doing in that PDF if you guys want access to it. Again, it's themodelhealthshow.com/daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll do my training, and I'm out of the gym with changing clothes and all that kind of stuff, probably around 5:45.
You said you went in at 4:30 and you're out by 5:45?
Between 4:30 and 5.
Right. So you're out of the gym before an hour.
Yeah, right around
That's
an hour.
huge.
Yeah, again, this is not, because again, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. What are you doing when you're there? Are you getting the most out of that time?
I love it. You have to share that then.
So right after, around 15 minutes after my workout, I'm going to go ahead and have my protein supplement. So I'm going to have some Hemp Force protein, and I generally take my shaker bottle and some water, and it's really all you need. And I add 2 scoops of the vanilla acai flavor, is my personal favorite. And I'll shake that up. And you don't need to add anything to it. It really tastes really good. But also, I mentioned this in past shows, there are little pieces of the hemp hearts. So the actual hemp seeds are in there as well, give you some omega-3 fatty acids, that whole thing. But for me, because I want to gain just a little bit of weight, and after your workout, this is a time when you can actually partition those carbohydrates you might take in to your muscles. Okay, so this is the time to have your carbohydrates. So if your goal is fat loss, you don't necessarily need to do this, but what I do is I add a little bit of sweetener to it. And I don't recommend this, again, because of the taste. It tastes good by itself. But I'll do a little bit of raw honey or some like coconut sugar, actually straight in there. And this might sound a little bit crazy that, somebody who's really focused on health and I'm actually putting some sugar into my stuff, but I'm doing it very strategically. And this is only after I do a heavy strength training day.
And we're talking about coconut sugar too.
Yeah, coconut sugar. But I generally am going to use some raw honey. But I want more of the sucrose than the fructose, because that's more something that's going to target my liver, which is a whole nother story. I don't want to get into the details, but bottom line, just get a little bit of extra sugar in there. So I have that around 6. And then I might do a little bit of work in this time, or this is just family time. But bottom line, at 7 o'clock, I'm with my family. And that's when we have dinner. It's when we all get together at the dinner table.
Yes.
One of the best investments you can make is having an actual dinner table for your family to get together and to talk, to unplug from everything and be together. And so this is also electronic free time, So I've got a teenager, right?
Right.
But he knows between 7 and 9, there's no phones going on. And so, and also because I just trained, this is when I'll have some carbs for dinner too. So it might look like some high quality protein, maybe some roast from the crock pot. We have a lot of crock pot meals.
Right.
Because again, got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And also the simplicity, with my family. And you can make a lot, and it's super easy. So maybe it's some roast And maybe I'll have some sweet potato along with that. And again, my non-starchy vegetables like greens or spinach or broccoli and things of that nature, or some sauteed zucchini, for example, we just had. Okay, so I'm doing that post-workout. If it's not a workout day, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have similar to breakfast. I'm going to have more fats at dinner. So maybe some olives and a big salad. And by the way, my lunch is generally going to be a big salad. So I skipped over that. So big salad, I actually use a serving dish, right? So it's kind of like Crocodile Dundee when he's like, that's not a knife. That's a knife.
There we go.
That's not a salad. I see those little punk salads. It's not a salad.
Punk salad.
This is a salad, right? And so I've got this big serving dish. It's got just maybe like half a box of salad in there. Then loading it with, and generally we also make dressings, or can make a quick dressing with just like some honey mustard and some olive oil, a little bit of lemon, mix that together. So some protein, so maybe some fish or some chicken and avocado, maybe some olives, some eggs, maybe some macadamia nuts. There's so many different things you can do with it. Lots and lots of vegetables, though, are going to go in there. All right. So family time from 7 to about 8:45 is when I put my 3-year-old to bed. And then from there at about 9 p.m., closing up my day. And this is when I'm going to either read or to share some time with my wife. And we generally, about 9:50, I drink a little bit of water, I brush my teeth, rub on my magnesium infusion. That, by the way, I'll put that into that PDF as well, the magnesium that I use and why. And I do that every night. This is something that is non-negotiable. I've been doing that every night for 3+ years. And if I'm doing something consistently like that, it's because it works.
Sure.
And so then I hop in bed, and by 10 o'clock,
You're 10
in
bed by 10?
I'm asleep. Just within a couple of minutes of hitting that mattress, I'm out.
Sweet.
So that's what Monday looks like. And just to kind of walk you guys through really quickly and kind of wrap up, Tuesday, same morning routine I took you guys through. But this is the day when I drop my son off at school, my 3-year-old, and he's in this awesome Waldorf school where they're like making houses. You know what I'm saying? They're doing stuff I can't do. Right. And so I drop him off around 8:30. Then I hit the office at 9, and this is my writing day. So I'm going to be writing articles, blog posts, guest posts for other websites, social media posts, lunch, same thing. Gym, I train Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday currently. And after the gym, same evening ritual. All right. Wednesday, same morning routine. Drop my son off. Hit the office for about an hour and a half. Then we're here in the studio.
Yes. And
we're recording from about 1 o'clock from about 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we'll get 2 shows in there generally. And then I have lunch. This is my only late day with lunch. And it's generally going to be a big salad like today. And then after that, because we also have a show release on Wednesday, so I'll hook up with people on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff, Facebook, and just answer questions, answer comments on my website. First and foremost, it's the first thing that I do. And from there, on Wednesdays is when, at least every couple of weeks, I'll have a massage at about 4:30 before I head home. And again, this is that care. Like I just did 2 days of heavy training. And so now I'm doing that extra self-care. And we did a show way back in the day about the benefits of massage.
Oh, yes.
So we'll put that in the show notes as well. And then I'll head home. Dinner, 7 o'clock, family time, same evening routine. Thursday, same as Monday, except this day when I get to the office, I'm doing interviews on other people's shows. I'm doing interviews for media, magazines, all that kind of good stuff. And this is when I'll do any client work that I might have, because I still do some nutrition consulting, maybe 2 or 3 people a quarter. And I'll do that. I'll do that type of work and connect with my clients.
So your work day is about how many hours of?
About 7.
Getting the grind.
About 7 hours. Mm-hmm. Because, and also, again, I slide in another hour or so here and there in the evening, And this is kind of in between when I get out of the gym and, when it's family time for dinner. Mm-hmm. I might slide an hour or so in there, unless my 3-year-old's like, by the way, if you got a kid, you're a celebrity when you walk in the door, So it's like, Daddy,
right?
You want to play kickball with me? It's hard to say no. So I might just get off into some kickball in the living room, which we shouldn't be doing. Right. Don't tell his mom.
I'm telling.
So that's what Thursday looks like. Pretty much the same gym time, same evening routine. Friday, same morning routine. This is when I do the podcast prep at the office. So I'm hitting the office about 8:30, and then lunch is 12:45. Then 2:00, I'm recording my new podcast. That this is the first time a lot of people are going to be hearing about this. It's called The Good Dad Project.
That's awesome.
Right? And so really, really excited about this. We've got some amazing shows already done, and it's talking to my other passion. Very, very passionate about health and helping people to feel empowered, in their own body, and understanding, not just disease, but understanding disease so we can reverse engineer them, but understanding what qualifies health and wellness, because fitness is different from health as well.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very passionate about that, but I'm also passionate about conscious parenting and being a father and being a dad. Like, I love that part of my life, So the Good Dad Project, I'll put, if you want more information on that, it'll be in the show notes as well.
Shouts out to Larry Hagner.
Yes. And so we'll do a couple of shows then, at least one show on Fridays. Then I might have some meetings or some, maybe an interview or two. And Friday evening, generally we're going to kick back. We might watch a movie. This is movie night. Family friendly, of course, since the little guys arrived.
At least until 9.
We just watched Big Hero 6.
Was it awesome?
Awesome.
I'm so gonna
How
see
good
it.
is this?
It is the best.
These life lessons is so good, and I mean, there were times, of course, when I saw powerful messages, but also just emotional feeling tone with these different movies is so powerful.
And to be watching it with family.
Yeah. And because especially when you have a kid, like if you're not a crier, you start to become more of a crier. It's because you feel like we get attached, even though part of meditation practice is to release attachment. You can do that kind of work. But I love my attachment. I choose it.
Yeah.
It didn't just take me over. I very much love my family. I love my kids. I love a lot of other people that I don't even know, and I want to see them do well. And it's just one of those things, you cultivate compassion, and you don't want to see another person sad or hurt or injured. And, you see those little situations in the cartoon, where the Betamax, I think his name was, when he gave himself
Baymax.
up. Yeah, he gave himself up to save the little boy. It's just like, oh my,
Right. You're feeling that.
Hit me in the heart.
Well, we will be watching that this weekend then.
And so that's what Friday looks like. Same evening routine, get to bed at the same time. And then Saturday, this is also if I'm in town for work, but also this might be traveling for speaking engagements and things of that nature. And by the way, Paleo FX, hopefully I'm going to see everybody there. I'm speaking there at the end of April. So again, head over to the website and get the information on that. And also I'll do other speaking engagements. Usually they're going to be on the weekend. Some happen during the week, and I just adjust accordingly. But if it's just a day at home, I'm going to have the same morning routine, but I'm doing HIIT training where that exercise portion comes in. I'm going to do HIIT training, and I'm going to do a little bit of work after that, which is going to be for my program, The Fat Loss Code. And I focus on those members and answering their questions, giving them new resources and things like that. So that's at thefatlosscode.com. And from about 11 a.m. the rest of the day, I'm with my family and we kick it. And then Sunday, same morning routine, family day. And at the end of the day, I'll generally do some planning for the week ahead. And that's my day. That's my week, guys.
So awesome. And you're up at 5:30, 7 days a week.
Every day.
Look at that.
Yes. And it is one of the most beneficial things that I've ever done. And
Amen.
it's as simple as making the decision. And we're actually going to talk about this very soon on an upcoming episode with Hal Elrod, the Miracle Morning, the author of the Miracle Morning, and the powerful things that can happen when you're getting more done before everybody else wakes up. You're getting more done in that time than people do in an entire day.
That's true.
And that's the power of that and having that consistent strategy. And so this is just what I do. Again, I hope you guys got some value out of that and you gleaned a couple of strategies or things that you might want to try out. But what it really boils down to is you making a decision to create positive, enriching habits in your own life and making those things a consistent part of who you are.
I love it.
And you can literally write a new story right now for where your life is going to end up.
With this as a template.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I appreciate you so very much. And I appreciate you sharing the show. It means the world to me. And look forward to another great episode coming really soon. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.